Parents strongly caution the following programs are intended for mature audiences over the age of 18. These programs may contain some material that many parents would not find suitable for children and may include intense violence, sexual situations, coarse language, and suggestive dialogue.
What up, motherfuckers?
What up, everybody?
Season 1, Episode 1, Sound Ejection. We got with us tonight Eve, Adam. So I know you guys are excited. Here's Mac, here's Rich, and whoever else comes in. You never know. How you guys doing?
Hello. Good. How are you?
Doing great.
We are fucking fantastic.
Right on.
So, what do you guys have going on right now for yourselves? What you got going on?
You want to start,
Preparing for tour. Yeah, preparing for tour.
Either one of you.
Same answer. Preparing for tour.
Yeah.
I was just where is it? I was just running the set and everything. So.
Okay. So, who you guys going on tour with right now?
Eve Adam.
Eve Adam.
All right. You guys got any other bands that are touring with you? Is it any kind of like long extensive thing?
No.
For me, I sometimes do some touring with a band called Edge of Destiny and a country rock artist named Derek Randall. But Eve Adam is kind of my main thing. So.
Okay, country. Oh, you do country too? All right.
I do it all. Yeah.
All right.
Try.
It's actually, I was kind of shocked. I was not too long ago, I was reading this thing about John 5, and I was reading who all that he had been on tour with, and I see Katie Lang on there. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Wow.
I was like, all right, that's cool. That's cool to kind of jump genres like that. I would get confused as shit because I play, but about the only thing I can play is fucking metal, and that's it. You try to ask me to play country, and I'll be like, I don't know, man. I have no fun. I'm no fucking clue.
Yeah, I mean, I like it all, but I like metal and rock the most, kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So each one of you, like whoever wants to start first, what would you say was the band that kind of influenced you into becoming musicians?
Ooh.
Is that a hard one?
Max?
Oh, sure. I'll start. Sure. That's a great question. Who obviously Rich influenced me.
Oh, okay.
I would say watching bands like Avenged Sevenfold or Papa Roach or Bullet for My Valentine, or even Slash too. I remember growing up and just being like, I want to do what they're doing. Like that looks like a lot of fun. So
I agree with that. Yeah.
All right, who you got, Rich?
Guitar wise, my influence early on was Randy Rhoads.
Okay.
Nice.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Then Slash.
How can you not have Slash? I love
Right.
Slash. Oh,
Right.
As a kid growing up, I think my biggest what put me into wanting to play music and mainly to be a bass player was actually White Zombie. The
Nice.
Oh yeah.
White Zombie.
Sean Yelts. Sean Yelts.
She's
Wow.
like my fucking idol. I was just like,
Yeah.
I want to be a bass player, and that is what the fuck I want to do.
Nice.
Her, and then I actually found out about Motorhead later on, and Lemmy was like a huge for me, and I was just like,
Oh yeah.
holy shit, I want to play bass. I want to play. My grandfather was like, you sure you don't want to play guitar, drums? No, I want to play fuck bass.
Play
Fuck
bass.
bass guitar. So I went right into it.
Very important.
I guess another good question for you guys. If you had the chance, I mean, as you guys as Eve to Adam, if you had a chance to tour with two bands as like a total package, what two bands would you like to bring on tour with you to do that?
Take it away, Rich.
Well, I mean, Max has already done it, but I could completely die if I got to tour with Seven Dust. Those guys are so fucking cool.
They're great.
I've been to like 8 shows for Seven Dust. Met them like twice. They're so cool.
Wow.
Lejean is super, super chill too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember we were in Florida on the tour with them, and Lejean just comes into our green room and he's like, "Hey, you guys are playing tonight, right?" And we're like, "Yeah." He's like, "Come take some shots with me." Like, just super, super nice guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, to answer the question, I would say I would love to do a tour with Papa Roach. I think like Eve Tad and Papa Roach could work. It's like hard rock kind of stuff. I don't know if Avenged Sevenfold would be too like a different genre-ish, but I'd love that or Bullet for My Valentine.
Probably in the middle.
In the middle,
right
yeah.
there.
But I could definitely see like a Papa Roach Eve Tatum tour, and I'll put that out there for existence. Like maybe it'll happen.
You're
Dude, actually,
one can do, right? We'll see.
One band I would love to tour with also is, and I played with them the first time they came to America, is Carnival.
Nice.
Oh,
Wow,
shit.
they're
I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Yeah.
Very long time. Okay, I dig that.
Yeah.
Hey guys, side note, I feel kind of bad because I keep seeing these messages and I want to respond to them, but I'm also trying to answer the question.
Dude, they're so small. I'm like
trying to
what's
read
that?
it. Yeah.
Street Boys.
Oh, our manager just said Backstreet Boys. That's 434.
That's what.
Let's do it. Let's do it, guys. I'm down. Why not?
Leave it up.
No.
To Derek. All right, I got you. I know. Okay, so let's get into some fucking crazy ass shit. Well, actually, not too crazy yet. It's like
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
We had a cool
All right.
question come up. What is your favorite pizza?
Pizza?
Yeah, pizza. Just
Oh,
pizza.
dude. Throw everything on there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Including like
Even the
anchovies.
pineapple.
Well, I mean, pineapple, that would have to be with the ham and the black
Everything.
olives, but
Well, that's everything, isn't it?
it's kind of, yeah.
What about
Okay. Let's exclude pineapple and anchovies. That's not really my thing. Everything else, I will tear it up.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
actually a big anchovy fan. I love pepperoni and anchovies.
Huh.
Love it. I don't give a shit.
I do
Everybody-
pepperoni.
I didn't even try it, to be honest with you.
You've never tried it?
No. Why would I try that?
Why not? Try everything
Because
once.
it's a dead fish on my pizza.
So? Who the fuck
Joel
Well,
says
it's
I
in-
love pizza with everything. I agree. Or
It's in
Rich.
Caesar dressing, so if you like Caesar salad, you're having anchovies.
No,
Yeah, just
I don't mind that.
try it.
I'm just looking at a fish.
Quit being a pansy ass and just fucking try it.
No. Great. Now I know what we're going to end up eating when I see him next.
Yeah, you're gonna see me in like
Anchovies.
You're gonna see
Anchovies.
Well, if we see you guys on tour, we'll have to try the anchovy pizza just to try it.
Oh, you
All right, that's the only way I'm gonna try it.
Both of you will see me on tour. That is actually how I've already talked to Derek, so that's
Cool.
gonna happen.
Well, when we see you guys on tour,
in person.
all
There we
right,
go.
I have a proposal. When we see you guys on tour, I will make sure to watch Rich eat the anchovies on the pizza.
Oh, dude, no,
He'll
you
eat
gotta go,
everything, he
dude.
said,
No,
so it's
Put
It's not
Rich
a good
right up
deal.
there.
no.
He said everything. That's part of everything,
did.
Rich. This is what you asked for.
Okay.
I think I would rather do the anchovies than like say pineapple on a
Counteract.
like a supreme pizza. Just saying.
Yeah.
Oh my. Oh God. Okay. All right.
However, for me, and Rich might hate me now, I love
Taco
pizza
pizza?
with pineapple and bacon. That's my thing.
No,
and
I'll
some
do that.
sriracha sauce on that.
I'll do that. Yeah.
I'd get down on that.
Yeah.
I'd get
Want to
down
know
on
what
that.
else is good? Is pepperoni, jalapenos, and pineapple.
Ooh, that does sound good. I forgot about jalapenos. I would definitely add that. There you go.
What the?
Dang, guys, now I'm hungry. Where's the pizza?
I know, right? Like,
I'm
what's for dinner?
salivating. Jeez.
Bring it on. Mm.
Yeah.
All right. So each one of you, this is a question for each one of you. What is your craziest story being on a tour? Like whether it was like a crazy ass fan, an incident that happened. Like, what is the absolute craziest shit that ever happened to you on a tour?
Max,
I
you
don't
or
think I
me?
can speak about that on here. I'll let Rich start though.
Okay. All right. Crazy. I won't say like crazy, but just weird and just like weird context.
Yeah. That works.
All right. So I was with Flaw in 2014, and we were playing a Miller Lite ball or some shit like that. And it was really hot outside, but we were playing with POD, Papa Roach, and Chevelle. And I remember the guitar player, my other guitar player, Jay Daunt. He comes out of this porta potty. He's like, "Dude, you will not believe it, but this shit is stacked this high. What the fuck?" I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Dude, I took a picture. Look." I was like, "No, dude, I'm good." So yeah, I wouldn't say crazy, but just like weird context. I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about? It's stacked this high." Yeah.
That shit reminds me of that fucking South Park episode where
Mr. Hinky?
Yes.
there was an episode where it was like Stan's dad, and he was able to like set the world record for taking the biggest shit, and it like piled up and like rode it off.
Yeah. I actually didn't. I only saw the picture for like a split second, but he was like, it was like really. Excuse me. It's like really high off the toilet seat. I was like, what the fuck?
I think I'm gonna throw up.
I want to know how it got
dude.
that high. That means somebody had a straddle that big.
I have no idea. And that was on like stage right. It wasn't like a funeral porta potty. This was the band's. So I don't know who got back there. POD, Papa Roach, Chevelle. I don't know.
Something happened.
Someone had
Right.
some serious hover game. Like
Some went down. Yeah. Yeah.
that is.
They might have been down in Mexico and then they came up to San Antonio.
Oh shit!
Those tacos get to you, and I'll tell you, I love tacos. They will get to you.
All right, what you got, Max? I know you got some good stories.
I have some. Actually, I have a really good one from South Carolina, where you're from. However, I cannot talk about that one on here. When I see you in person, we can discuss that one. But a story I can tell you is I remember I was on the Alter Bridge tour in 2020, right before COVID. This was in February. We were playing in LA at the Wiltern. And we had finished our set. Then there was another band, and then Alter Bridge. And so I went with my drummer, and my drummer and I, we were best friends. And we went side stage to watch Alter Bridge. So it's like mid-set or whatever. And then my drummer's patting me. And I'm like focused watching Alter Bridge, and he keeps patting me, and I'm like, bro, I'm watching Alter Bridge, and I keep watching, and he's patting me, and then he punches me, and I'm like, what do you want? I'm watching Alter Bridge. He's like, look who's right next to you, and Slash was right next to me watching Alter Bridge also. So that's probably one of the crazier of stories.
Hey, you
talk about.
Fucking prick. Meeting Slash. Meeting Slash.
Great. Yeah, and
I
so
hate you.
So the reason I wear bandanas on stage, you know how like a lot of guitarists do that? The reason I do that is because of Slash. And he had like a black and white one, and I had a black and white one also. And so I shook his hand, and I'm like, Slash, it's so nice to meet you. Like, thanks for everything. You know, and he's just like, yeah, like, you know, like he's just there to check out the show. But super chill guy. Anyways, there was a picture taken of me and Slash. And our band at the time, we put it online like the next day being like, Slash, thanks for coming to the show and checking it out. And within like 10 minutes, like it got shut down. Like we had Alter Bridge's management call our management being like, yo, you got to take that picture down because TMZ is about to get to it or blah, blah, blah. And like at that moment, I realized just how famous Slash is. It's like, it's just ridiculous.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt, dude. Yeah.
So that's probably one of my crazy tour stories. Yeah.
That sounds like more of an Axl thing than Slash, but you know.
I think he just didn't want people to know where he was at in that moment.
I understand.
So,
yeah.
That's absolutely insane. That's absolutely insane.
Yeah. There's crazier stories, but that's one I can talk about.
Okay. So,
yeah, I have a lot more, but once we meet, we'll talk about that.
All right. Well, actually, me and you, Rich, me and you have met once.
At the
don't
talk about that.
Exactly.
Slava tour.
Yes. Yep.
Dude, I did the best I could with what I had. All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I understand. You don't need to say anymore.
Yeah. Were you in Houston?
Yeah, I was the whole tour. The fucking clown.
Oh, you're
horns.
You're in Houston.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I was in Houston. I was in fucking San Antonio and Slidell.
Dude, it had nothing to do with that thing with Jeremy Jerome. If you're watching, dude.
Yep, I was on that whole length. If you see that guy running around with the damn clown mask and fucking horns, that was me.
Oh no shit!
Yes.
Who are you with at the time?
I was just Scoops the Clown. I was the host for the one that was up.
Scoops.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, dude. Okay.
In the flesh.
You had didn't you have a girl with you or?
Yep. Sure
Mischief.
Did. Yes.
Mischief.
Yep.
We'll talk about that later, but yeah, all right. I remember. Yeah.
Yep. That was me.
Yeah. All right. Scoops the Mischief. Yeah.
Who it is?
What up?
Hey.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Hey,
himself.
man. Yeah, just shy of under 20 minutes. How are you guys, man?
We are
good, man. How you doing?
Great.
I'm better now that I found a C charger. That's most of my life is like, this isn't a fucking C charger. That's pretty much what I just went through for like the last 3 minutes. So, but now I'm better, and the medication just kicked in, so everything's going to be really nice, real nice.
All right,
yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Her medication.
How are you guys, man? Happy Friday to you guys. Happy Friday.
Hell yes, Friday.
I'm sorry. I was getting some interruption from Elon Musk or something. I don't know. What did you guys say?
You're good, homie. You're good. Well, welcome.
Thank you so much for having us, guys. Appreciate it. Very nice.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I just asked these guys, I'm gonna kind of let you go into what is the craziest thing that you could talk about that ever happened before? Doesn't matter
that
what
happened on tour?
Yeah.
I mean, I've had quite a few instances of like that just didn't happen. Like almost like Bill Murray getting slimed by a ghost in the first Ghostbusters. Like surreal kind of shit. Where you're like, okay. I remember once I was on tour with Creed, How many stories have you heard like that start like that, right?
My story was similar, Taki. I was with Alter Bridge.
Taco from Eve to Adam and Scott Stapp from Creed walk into a casino. What could go wrong? Yeah, I remember like we were having a good time. Like the tour was killing. Like we were doing really well. And then like Scott Stapp like turned to me and he's like, man, lead singers we're kind of like superheroes. And I just like kept walking. I was like, where's the shrimp bar? Find a shrimp bar, find a buffet, get a drink. Like, I don't know what to say here. And he's like, I mean, maybe we should start wearing capes. I was like, oh yeah, right. Exactly right, Scott. I'm right there with you. So that was one moment where I was like, the record skipped. But no, he was just fucking with me and we started laughing after that.
I'm Batman.
And then we went and had a drink. So it was cool. He's actually a very cool guy. And that was one of the most like educational and like professional upgrading career moments for me. Like I was like, up until there, we were kind of like doing really well on the B circuit and thought we like really had our shit together. And then you go out with Creed for 81 dates and you go, oh, so this is how it gets done. So that's what a stage show looks like. That's what real lights look like. Yeah, it was like such an educational experience. And I have Mark Tremonti to thank for hooking me up with Michael Elvis Basquiat that changed my life on a music level. We went in and did Locked and Loaded right after we did that tour with Creed. And that was all because I heard the first Tremonti solo album and was blown away. Especially, there was a couple of tracks on that were like not so super heavy, even though a lot of the other stuff was slamming and everything was great. But like, I was wondering like who put that song on there. And Mark was like, that was Elvis's insistence, the producer. I was like, wow. I was like, Mark, that's like incredible. That song is so beautiful. I was like, I really want to work with this guy. And he really made that happen for us. So I'm forever grateful and eternally thankful to Mr. Tremonti for hooking me up with my brother, Michael Elvis Basquiat, because like, talk about a master session. Like I had done a lot of recording and I was a pretty solid studio singer, could do my own harmonies and I didn't need to do the Milli Vanilli, like auto-tune kit, you know what I mean? Like I could sing in pitch and everything. It was good. But like when you're working with a guy like that, it's just like you have no choice but to get better or go home. It's pretty simple. So I learned so much, and I think that the growth that I experienced in making that record in Ithaca really kind of like just set me up for like the insane asylum. No, I'm just kidding. No, just like for like really like having confidence in being like, I think I could like I can hang with some of my heroes, like I felt like, like when you can nail it with Elvis, like it's a whole other thing. Like even Lejean has done Seven Dust has done 2 records with him, and Lejean was dying to work with Elvis because of how he does harmonies and how he does vocals. And he has said the same thing I've said, which is basically the greatest experience he's ever had musically in a studio, period. Like it's a whole other level. So anyway, I digress. But as far as other crazy stuff, oh my God, so many cool bands I've had the honor to like open for and be direct support for and tour with, like Hailstorm and In This Moment and man, Texas Hippie Coalition, which we're going to be reunited with
Big Daddy
and I guess in a few weeks. Yeah, Big Daddy Rich, BDR.
You guys
BDR. A very unlikely combo, Taco and BDR. But we actually got on really well and became friends at the end of that run. And Texas and New York kind of collided for a pretty killer run. And I'm really excited to be reconnected with those guys because I really like that band. They're a lot of fun. And it's got that like Texas red dirt kind of crunch, So I always love watching and hearing the guitar tones from that group. But let me see. Oh man. In 2007, my very first like major tour post like baptism with Scorpions and Motley Crue in 1999 was opening for Chris Daughtry. and actually we were direct support for him post American Idol. 57 shows sold out across the United States. And that was the first time I realized the power of television, because like we were just like a large regional band from the New York area, you know, Northeast. And then we're pulling up to like the House of Blues in Orlando, and there's like 72,000 soccer moms that know who we are. And I was like, oh my God, what's going on? What the hell's going on here?
Nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing was wrong with that. I was like, wow, it was incredible to like actually someone knows who the hell we are. That's pretty cool. But there was some pretty cool nights in LA, especially at the Standard Hotel, where I had the lovely company of two amazing ladies that we got to recreate, let's just say, Love in an Elevator from Aerosmith in the hotel. And there was a moment where the doors opened. I think it was on floor 7. We were in the midst of a very passionate act. And the people on the other side of the elevator were like, they just started doing a golf clap. So I was like, that guy must be a rock star. And then the doors closed, and then we just kind of kept going on our way. So I was like, yeah, I think I want to keep doing this. I don't care if I have to keep going back to Taco Bell. I'll fucking figure out a way to keep staying on the road. So yeah, I mean, once you have like, yeah, there it is, the golf clap. I love it. That's like Men at Work right there from Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez. I love that. But
that's a great movie.
But you know, I mean, dude, it's like so many. I mean, I should write a book. People have been like, you should write these stories down. You know, I'm like, but some of these people are still alive. But yeah, no, it's the greatest thing, because it's like whether you get gold records or you win Grammys. If you really love creating music, performing music, entertaining people, making people happy, and being like the best version of yourself, like music is the greatest ride, because of the challenges you face as a human and the opportunities to rise as a performer and as a human are all like interfaced in one singular journey, you know? And then the ability to get to know like your brothers, you know, your family, you know, your band, like challenging each other and like being in awe of like someone on the stage when you look over and be like, that guy just shredded the guitar solo. Like you're just like, those are some of my favorite moments on stage, when I know we're hitting it hard, we're sounding great, it's tight, but yet you get these little moments where you're like, you look over and you're just like in slow motion, you're like, wow, that was fucking awesome. You know? And you're like, that's the best part of being in a band, man. I mean, you know, I'm sure being a solo artist is great and whatever, but when you got 4 or 5 other, you know, individuals that are all chasing the same thing with you, and the synergy of your energy kind of like becomes like one force, then of course you're going to wear a cape, like Scott Stapp said, and you are a fucking superhero. So a rock and roll superhero. But yeah, I was addicted from early on. I mean, at 13 years old, I started playing bass because I wasn't very good at football, and it was a good way to meet chicks. And then I started singing because no one else. We either had a really good looking singer that couldn't sing, or a guy who could sing who was just terribly not fashionable, let's just say, and not cool. So I was like, I think I'm gonna like figure this thing out, because I was just tired of like, you know, suffering through like you know, like set lists of like great hit songs like by Faith No More and Metallica that sounded like dog shit. So but yeah, from 13 on, you know, I've been in this game, and from the first time I got my first Ibanez to this moment right now, even all the peaks and valleys and all of the bullshit that goes with it, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I wouldn't do anything else, because I may not be rich in Bitcoin or you know, bearer bonds, but the stories and things that I've gotten to see and experience are invaluable, priceless, and you can't download them, you can't steal them, you can't copy them, you can't manufacture them. It's like the grace of the universe. If you're lucky enough to be doing the right thing at the right time, you'll have these like wondrous little moments that are like little unicorns, you know, of things you'll never forget, you know? So like when people say like when you die, you get these flashbacks and like all this shit happens. I know my highlight reel is going to be like, I'm not worried about it. I just hope we'll have time to like fit it all in, because I was just like, that was my biggest fear growing up was, go to law school and personal injuries or make people are taken care of and screw insurance companies, or am I going to be a fucking rock star? And I just couldn't. I couldn't go through life knowing that I was a coward. Like I knew I had something. I knew I could chase it. I knew I had to develop it. But if I didn't, I think that would be the greatest injustice. Like I couldn't live with myself. I wouldn't want to wake up and be like 55, 60 and be like, blew it. You blew it. You had that shot. You could have motorboated that chick with the double D's, and you could have been, had the greatest life ever, but you chose, 6,000 square foot home, Mercedes, and a butt-lick suit. You know what I mean? So I just, for me, it was like, took the plunge, and you know what? I mean, look, some things have been great, other things not so much, but you live, you learn, you keep rolling, and that's what rock and roll is about. I mean, it really keeps you ready for the apocalypse. I mean, when you've been in a band for 24 years, there's nothing you can throw at me right now that I can't handle. I've been in this certain economy level for a minute, and I've had to deal with promoters. So what is a communist invasion going to do to me? I don't have anything to, when you deal with promoters, you're good to go, man. I'm like, you got the skill set, I've survived it all. So I'm looking forward to getting out there, man, and connecting with my friends. And, if there's one thing the pandemic taught me is that don't take anything for granted. We all think like tomorrow is guaranteed and like, hey, the next album, the next tour, blah, blah, blah. And the truth is, you don't like those opportunities are gifts. It's not like, you don't know that's going to happen, So I said to myself, like, if I survive all this shit and I get a chance to get back out there, after going out on the road with Queensryche in 2020 and John 5 and like having surreal moments every night, listening to some of my favorite songs that I grew up with in middle school, Queensryche, Empire and Operation Mindcrime were like my Bible, doing like math homework to like, just Empire, just that whole record on repeat. I loved Chris DeGarmo's guitar. Yeah. And Jeff Tate to me was a god vocally. It was just like, wow, what is going on here? So like, to meet your heroes and have them be cool, but to hear like these great songs every night, and to know that you're like right there, you were just on that stage, and that was a dream of mine when I was 13, was like, hey man, I would love one day to tour with Queensryche, and we got to do that. And then the pandemic took shape and took hold of the world, and I was like, man, I don't know if I'm ever going to get a chance to do this again. I don't know if I'll get a chance to do another album. So you start thinking, if I get another opportunity, if I get a chance to step into a studio again, if I'm blessed enough to have a killer lineup and go out and play this music again and spread some cheer and self-fulfillment out there, through music, like I'm not going to take anything for granted. And I'm really blessed to have an awesome manager that like saw me through some very dark shit. Because I went into a really bad depression because, like the 2020 tour for us was like a culmination of, it was like almost 4 years of work. And it was like getting to the top of the pinnacle. Like we're just about to get to the top of the mountain. And it's the worst kind of wound when you know that like you're not immediately going to die. But over time, the air in the balloon is leaving slowly. You know what I mean? And there's nothing you can do about it. And no matter what, you have to face the fact that you were so fucking close, but yet we are going to be starting over. And can you do that? Are you willing to do that? I had a lot of shit I had to get rid of and answer those questions before I could even think about doing this again, because I was like, I didn't know if I could do it again. I was pretty pissed, to be honest with you. It's the second time in my career where like I started my career 2 months before 9/11, And then like in the second chapter of a rebirth of my band and career, then COVID hits. And I'm just like, wow, man, ski rag too. I was like, I don't know, man. Maybe I should just take my bat and ball and go home. Call it a day, right? I've done a lot of shit. It's been, it's been a pretty great ride. No Lambos, no G6s, but pretty amazing stories and a pretty crazy ride, considering that, I don't come from the lineage of like hit record producers, and my dad didn't play in like Leonard Skinner or something. My dad was an immigrant who became a doctor and who told me to stay the fuck away from music, pretty much threatened me. I had to go the long way around and get myself into music school and get scholarships and mow a lot of lawns to Tesla albums to pay for vocal lessons, so it was not like an easy path, so it's like, it was tough, man. But I really want to thank Derek and Island for really being there for me. Island, first and foremost, like if it wasn't for him, I mean, forget about being in a band. I'm not sure I'd still be here. He was my glue. And for the first time in my career, I had somebody that I could lean on. I've always been the guy holding the shit together. And he really held the fort down for me while I kind of like went Axl Rose estranged. Like I just went subterranean and just like disappeared. And I had people like hitting me up and like, I couldn't even respond. I didn't even know what to say. I couldn't even, I was really lost for a while. And so Island was really, like some people are like, oh yeah, man, I'm your brother. I'm your this and that, and Island's been my brother. I mean, he's been through a lot of shit and dealt with a lot of shit to even get me to here. And then getting connected with Derek, from 434, and just having a manager who actually gives a shit and is a friend, but is also really good at what he does. I've never had that in my life, ever in my career. I've always had some decent people, but like no one who really gave a shit, and Derek actually cares, which is like, took me a long time to get used to that, because I'm very facetious and very like, yeah, whatever. No one gives a fuck about artists, they're all there for the check and the ride and whatever, but he's different.
So pessimistic.
And he's actually from my hometown in New Orleans, and he's got that Bayou soul, you know what I mean? He's got that real organic kind of spirit.
Derek cares. I've been very, very good friends with Derek for a long time, and I love Derek dearly, and he's a badass.
I mean, you can't understate that. He really is a badass. I mean, that word's overused. Genius and badass is definitely overused, but Derek Pichon is he has a very certain and special way about him, and he's very genuine. And I tell you, man, he really kind of reinvigorated and re-inspired me to want to do this again. And I'm thankful that at the right place at the right time to have the right people like who kind of like were there for me. They lifted me up, you know what I mean? So it's very strange for me. I feel like I've been blessed with this awesome lineup again, and just and a sick drummer, and I don't know. I mean, I feel like almost like I'm back to square one in that being a band new again, even though I'm the OG, right? I've been here from day one and been doing it for a few minutes now. The clock has been ticking, and I've been through a lot, but it's really, really special to feel like, I'm in my first band again. Like, I feel like there's a lot of new beginnings, and that's very, that's a blessed thing to have, being 22, 23 years in, building this band really from CBGBs in New York City, to break out of the New York City scene, one of the only bands of the early millennia, into 2010, let's say, when we kind of broke into a national scene with Sirius XM, playing Gift and Kayla Riley really taking a liking to the band and kind of putting us on the national scope, to graduating to Locked and Loaded, and Immortal being, on the Big Guns countdown, like 4 or 5 times in that cycle, and then breaking 13, on the active rock chart and the mainstream rock charts, subsequently. I was like, it's insane. I mean, like, that alone was like, who the hell would have thought these guys would have done this shit? But, don't underestimate the Greeks. That's all I can tell you, Tommy Lee and whatnot, you know. So there's a few of us out there. Anthony Kiedis, you know who you are. So we, you know, but dude, it's been incredible, and like it seems to keep continuing. So like, I don't take anything for granted. One day at a time. We've got some tours coming up. It's going to be fun. Jamming and writing with these guys is awesome, and it's fun again. So I'm blessed. I mean, really, anything else happens and keeps going, great. I mean, God bless, man. I feel like, you know, I've been given another shot, and I'm not going to waste it. You know what I mean? I just want to be as present as possible and as giving as possible. I mean, as far as like just performance wise, and you know, I've got a lot left to give, and I have a lot things that I've learned through this process, and a lot to say. Obviously, you guys can see. They name this guy, right? This guy never shuts the fuck up. Holy shit!
He's a talker.
But I've got a lot. I've got a lot to say. I got a lot of things to do still. So you know, I got Mama's recipe to share with the world. So we're gonna do it. We're doing it one step at a time, man. We're just breaking out again, and you know, it wasn't easy getting to this point, but I fucking, you know, I got great guys around me. So I mean, you know, what can you say? That in itself is like winning. I feel like I won already. Like everything else is, you know, if we open for Shinedown or we do a festival with Guns N' Roses, that's cherry on top. But being with these dudes and having fun making music again, nothing like it. You know, I mean, I'd like the Lambo, but I'd take this over that actually. I take this because it's a lot more fulfilling, man. And I have two of the greatest guitar players I've ever had the privilege of knowing. And I never thought in a million years in this life, on this planet, that I would have the chance to witness two guitar players of their own volition reach out to each other and ask each other, so how do you want to do this? What do you want to play? What do you want to do? And actually work together in an incredible tandem.
Professional, man.
Without the bullshit of like, you know, all the bad stories you've heard of like Ego 1 and Ego 2, you know, basically destroying everything as it built everything. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm like, wow, that's like something new for me. I've been blessed to play with some amazing players and some really great guitar players, like, you know, 6-string slingers and great writers, but I've never had a guitar combo that was so intelligent and talented and like passionate about getting it right, and not like being selfish about like, well, this is my, you know, this is where I do my solo, you know what I mean? Like none of that shit. I'm like, wow, that in itself is like, wow, that's a whole other world right there. So, I mean, that's a new dimension for me. I'm like, wow, that right there, that's a new thing right there. So that's dude, killer.
Hey, Talkie.
So yeah, I'm excited, I guess you could say.
Speaking of that, the first time Max and I talked, he was like, dude, I want to do whatever betters the song. I was like, that's my bro right there. Whatever betters the band, whatever betters the song.
That's not true. We did rock, paper, scissors for the solos.
Oh, is that what we did?
Is that what you guys did? You guys were doing well. It's better than like drinking a fifth of whiskey and going out back and slugging it out. I guess knock each other's teeth out. I mean, that was the other way, the '70s way, I guess. You know,
I think that's the flaw way. I think that's the flaw way, but we'll talk about that later.
That was the Skinner way. That was probably the AC/DC way. That was a lot of different ways, but I mean, it worked for them. But this is a different age and a different era, and implants are expensive.
Right. Yeah.
But no, just to say something about Max, you know, like a lot of guys you hear in interviews, that line right there, right? Eloquently delivered and perfectly said, right? Like you hear it all the time. He actually means it, like, which is different because a lot of guys can deliver the schmooze, you know, can be like, yeah, man, it's like the song and everything, and blah, 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 blah. You know, and you've heard it before and whatnot, but like then sooner than later you hear like bullshit, things have hit, you know, there's things happen on the road, and you know, certainly there's tensions in the band, you know, and no, these guys are sincere and very professional, and I just want to say, like, it's like to meet someone you've never known before ever, but to feel like you know them, you actually do know them very well because they've gone through in different scenarios or different bands the same things I've gone through. Like this is a combination of a group and a lineup of we've all been through the merry-go-round, very familiar, you know, the tour war stories and the near successes that turned into, you know, kind of tragic, kind of like, oh man, you know, the tears coming down, you know. I mean, so it's like I'm surrounded by equals, you know what I mean? And it's like I almost feel like this is like my personal Velvet Revolver or something, you know, because like everybody here has everything to contribute because they're nowhere beneath me, behind me. You know, we are in step because we are like, we're speaking our truth. We've been through the shit. And even though we haven't done it together, we're about to do it together. Our stories are very similar, you know, and I recognized it right away. And I think that they recognized that I knew that and that this could work because, you know, everything's about respect, you know, and when you're creating, you know, especially, you know, and when you're out in small spaces, in buses, in RVs, in planes, and this and that, you know, like, yes, you have to be yourself, but you also have to remember that, you know, you have to consider your friends, consider your brothers, you know, like, don't do it at the expense of them. So it's like a tight wire act, you know, you have to like let your expression be free, but please don't take your shoes off again because I'm gonna fucking strangle you. You stink, bro. You know what I mean? So there's that. It's a very fine line between majesty and like, dude, when was the last time you fucking did laundry, bro? What's going on? You know. But I know no matter what, it's Tide Pods and all, we're gonna be fine because we're mature. We're immature, mature guys. You know what I mean? We're grown men, but we're still like 17 inside, and the dream is still alive. So, you know, there's no AARP around here. We're ready to go.
All right,
I do what I can.
You got a question from a fan. What are your thoughts on AI with changing the industry?
Okay.
I have an IT background, so I think as long as you're like,
I mean, Skynet. Anybody seen Terminator 2?
Yeah.
So you guys with it?
I mean, listen. I've been privy to. I want to know where my AI is. Where's my Taki AI? I want to know where that's going on. Which kind of hodgepodge? Where are they going to throw me in with what? They're going to put me in a blender with who? Like, you know, Lane Staley and Hugo Ferreira or something. I mean, who am I going to get? I mean, like, how are they going to make me up? I mean, I don't know. I'm intrigued by it, but it's kind of like, you know, CGI for actors. You know, it's entertaining. I guess it's not real. It's not human. You know, it's music, I guess, but not real human music. It's not, you know, so, I mean, I don't like to shit on anything because people are like, you know, people are into different things. And, you know, I'm a bit of a dinosaur. I remember when, you know, you logged onto the internet, it's not like a pterodactyl was coming to fucking have sex with you. You know, I mean, it was like, like, what's going on? What was that? And you could download porno. It would take 4 days just to see a titty. You know, by Thursday, that's going to be a full titty. That's going to be real nice. You know, and then we had MP3s, and then it turned into, you know, I mean, iTunes, and then streaming, and then, you know, and now AI. I mean, it's like, yeah, it just keeps moving. Technology is changing things. I mean, Pro Tools redesigned the sonic sphere of how music was made. You know, I mean, suddenly now anyone can sing, and everyone's Yngwie Malmsteen if you have the right engineer. You know, and you know what you're doing. So I think there's a place for everything. I think it's multitudes of entertainment. But this guy's like, dial-up, LOL. Exactly, bro. Exactly. That's stupidly accurate. No, I mean, remember chat rooms when they were innocent? Before you were like, hi, I'm Chris Hansen. Yeah, have some high tea. Go ahead, have a seat. You're free to go. You're like, oh my God, what's going on? Yeah, dude, AOL, what happened? But no, I mean, dude, we're old school. Like, my favorite thing about being in a band is like rehearsals. and like that special thing that happens that wasn't supposed to happen, right? You know, you can grid everything, you can plan things, you can like rehearse it. This is this, and this is the B section. We're gonna try a reprise here. Let maybe modulate this bridge. That's all cool. That's heady. That's kind of rushed. That's cool. Whatever. But you know what's cool, man? That open jam, that lick that came from out of nowhere, the drummer picking up on it and taking us somewhere else, and suddenly through imagination, a bit of chance, and a little bit of risk, we're in a whole other fucking kingdom. We're in another universe. And that freedom is why I love being in a hard rock, like, you know, rock and roll metal band, whatever you want to say. I mean, loud guitars and like guys in a room, you know, crushing their eardrums with the threat of the unknown, you know. And to me, my favorite songs that we've written over time have been, you know, out of the jam. You know what I mean? Like a song like Bender was out of the jam. You know, songs like Crime Scene was from a jam. You know, I mean, so many songs like fucking Day Drinking was a goof. That was like just being like way in the studio too many hours and literally just out to sea. I felt like Tom Hanks in Castaway. I might as well have been singing to a volleyball. It was kind of a joke song, and then it kind of like we kind of just went with it, you know. But it's like those moments of like opportunity that didn't really need to happen unless, you know, you kind of created it because you went with the other guy's flow and you really liked where that went. And then the other guy fed off of it, and boom, we kicked through that door together. And suddenly 45 minutes later, we're like, man, this is pretty, I want to play this live, you know? And that's when you know you have something. When all 4 or 5 guys look at each other and go, you think we should throw this in the set tomorrow? You know, it's not perfect. We may not do it, but you know what? We'll jam the outro and we'll riff it out, and who the fuck cares? We'll see where it goes. You know, that to me, like, if I don't ever want to lose that, like, I love having all the production. I love all that stuff. I mean, representing the art that's recorded in the studio, that's great. But what I'm most excited about with this group is the opportunity, because the talent is there, to be able to go off the grid and, you know, like almost like Pearl Jam, Mike McCready it, where like the ending and outro of, you know, Emergency in Chicago was certainly different than what they did in New Orleans. You know, that was 4.5 minutes longer. Like, I want to be able to do shit that's just like riffing and like singing other melodies with the crowd and response, call and response. That's like, that happened only that night in Austin, Texas, or that happened in San Francisco once, you know, on a different song. You know, like those guys, like you may have heard the set list, but you really don't know which outro, how that solo, you know, Max might kick into a thing, and then we're just going to go with it. And we have the ability to do that because everyone's a player here. So I'm most excited about that. I'm excited about bringing the sound of Eve to Adam to life in a bigger way than it's ever been, visually and sonically, but also to take the dog off the leash and let that dog hunt. Because I think that's what's been missing most in today's form of like modern rock, modern metal, whatever you want to call it, is that like, there are guys that can play, man. Let them go, let them play, let them, you know, what is everyone afraid of? We're not afraid, and we're going to certainly explore. And I think that that's going to lead to live recordings of shows, which is one of the things I always love about Pro Jam, is that, you know, you could literally get that show that night. And it's not like, you know, Portland was one thing, you know, Spokane was another. And then all of a sudden San Diego was like, wow, where'd that come from? So I think that's the encryption that will fight AI, because you're not going to be able to, you know, 3D print the spontaneity of 4 or 5 humans playing together in sync and not necessarily knowing where they're going either, and then one following the other. And I think that that's a whole other algorithm that's encryption of the soul, you know? So I'm not worried about any of it, because I think that if you live to play and it's all about a really great live show and you're in touch with your audience, you got nothing to worry about.
Okay. We got another question. Where is your favorite place that you have ever played? Each
so
one
many
of you.
places, man. Beacon Theater, New York was one for me. That was magic. I've always wanted to play Red Rocks. I know about you guys if you've ever done it in other projects, but that's always been a dream, and that's yet to happen.
Yeah, we should do that.
Yeah, let's book one of those. Let's do that, right?
Let's do that.
Anything's possible. We should. It could happen. It definitely could happen. Hopefully, before they nuke the world, I can do Red Rocks. That'd be great. Chicago Theater was a great place. I love some of these theaters, like these old theaters from the 20s and 30s. Like the theater we shot the Immortal video in was like magic. There's something about like things that were built back in that time, the marble, like the stone, like the gravitas of like somebody, like I think that guy probably died putting that over there. You know what I mean? You're like, whoa. It's just like it humbles you, you know? Yeah, I mean, I've played some incredible outdoor radio festivals. Like Rock on the Range was amazing when it was Rock on the Range. I know it's a different name now, but that was pretty magic. Like, opening for Down, with Pepper Keenan and Phil Anselmo, and Kid Rock being across the way as he's about to headline, and he just kills it. And POD and like fucking Deftones, like what? You're just walking around like scratching your head, going like, what the fuck's going on, man? Is this happening? Like this is insane. And like Phil Anselmo coming up to you, going like, hey man, you got a really good throat, man. That was awesome. I loved your version of Rebel Yell. And I was just like, punched myself in the face. I was like, I don't think that happened. I'm gonna go back to my bus and probably just like hit myself in the head with a bat because I don't think that happened. But it did happen. And I wasn't supposed to give Phil that Jaeger that night, but things happened. You know what I mean? It was crazy time. Yeah, man, dude, so many things. I mean, I don't know. I could go on and on and on, but like there's still so much to do. But like, yeah, I want to go to Europe. I want to play Wacken. I want to play Wembley. You know, nice. I want to go to Australia. You know, that's the one thing I've always missed out on is like really going worldwide. You know, I want to go play Japan. I want to do Budokan. I remember listening to Cheap Trick Budokan, Aerosmith Budokan. Like, I want to play like those legendary places. You know what I mean? Like, it's like there's still a lot to do. So we have a lot of time, but we don't have a lot of time. We have a lot to catch up on, but I know I've got the right crew. And next question, caller number 9. You're on the show with Steve and Adam.
All right. So
who's got another question for us?
Being that we're almost at the end of the show, what do you guys want to get out there? Like, do you have anything new coming up? You got tours, you got shows. What you got coming up that you want to get out there for everybody to know?
We got a couple runs, but I think I'm really excited about getting the studio. Work with Max and everybody and just kind of seeing what we can put into the fucking pot.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
There's no shortage of material with this group. I mean, everybody brings to the table like 1,000 riffs. And so the hardest part is going to be finding like
picking them.
I mean, it's not gonna be hard. It's not gonna be hard to like listen to like all of it's pretty solid and some of the stuff is just stellar and shredding. But I think like the cream rises to the top. And for me, it's always about like what sticks in your head after hearing everything, you know, and what do you want to play live? You know what I mean? So yes, we are working on new material. There will be a new album in 2025. Right now we're hitting the road. We are blessed to be asked to play so many places and bands that are hitting us up that want to go out with us. You know, so, I mean, a lot of dates, man. We have been away. We really want to thank all of our fans for like quietly sticking and standing by us. Personally, I'm one of those guys that don't always want to be like, you know, when I've got something to say, like I'll say it, but like I also just go away. Like Sully says, go away. Like sometimes people are just too fucking exposed, man. Like it's too much. Like everybody in their face. Hey man, I made some ice cream today. I mean your face, man. Yeah, I'm worried about losing followers. Like I'm not that guy. I'm about music. I'm more from like the Tool school. Like, you know, if you're doing it right and you're like using organic materials, like people know where to find you, you know. But if you just want to go to Chipotle and get diarrhea, goes. I mean, might as well. I mean, you can do it. It's a free country. You can do whatever you want. You know. I'm more of like the thing like when there's a reason, you'll know. You know, like here we are. We're back, and we're really excited to reconnect with everybody. But we took some time away. We had some time we needed to find out who we are as people. I mean, our fans keep moving, so do we. You know what I mean? Like, we have to stay in the game. You have to stay real. You have to keep growing. And that's the only way you're going to make music that matters. You know?
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, other than that, you might as well just do another album that sounds like, I don't want to make another Locked and Loaded. I don't want to make another, you know, I don't want to repeat myself or ourselves. I just want to keep breaking new territory. And that's what's exciting. And these guys bring a lot to the table. And I just, like Rich said, I mean, the studio is calling, but first we've got some road tripping to do, and it's going to be fun. And I know that that's going to lead to even more material. And like I said, live stuff, it's going to be live. So it's going to be like in the moment stuff that's going to be captured that, you know, even sending files back and forth, that's awesome, but nothing like, you know, that moment where Rich played this lick and we're all looking at each other and go, that is the makings of a hit song, you know? So I don't know, man. I know I talked a lot, but you know, I always do. And I have a lot to get out in a short period of time. So thank you for letting me earfuck you all. I appreciate it. It's been a pleasure. I love you guys. I love my fans. I love our fans. You guys are the best. Rock fans and hard rock and metal heads. I mean, what can we say about the best music people in the world? The most dedicated and the just most passionate, like the most real. Like to have a beer and a shot with like people that really get it. You know, I love being in this genre. I love representing rock and roll, and because of the fans, they're the coolest. I mean, when you connect with an audience live, there's nothing like it. So I fucking can't wait, man. That's what I'm in it for. So I can't wait to see you all. And yeah, look, we got dates coming up. We're June 4th, June 5th, 6th, 7th, all of June. We're out and playing a few festivals. We're playing club dates. You know, we're getting, you know, we're playing undercard events. I mean, we're getting back in there. We're not just going to go and try to take the champ out. You gotta get back in the ring and earn your shot at the title. Right. So I love being underdog again. And I like getting scrappy. And I like doing shit that nobody else is doing because everybody's really polished. And right now is a great time to not be. So look forward to a dirty, intense, sweaty, fucking AC/DC style, 70s style, like fucking rock and roll show. That's it.
Hellfire, thank you so much.
Oh, yeah.
On that, we're done, everybody. We will be back next Friday with another interview. You guys please check out Eve to Adam. Go to their pages, check out where they're touring, go to their shows, buy merch, support these bands because, you know, record labels fuck them all the time. Anyways, we are out of here. Good night.
Yeah,